Hi, I'm Shelley Martin, host of Engage More for You. Welcome, everyone. I'm really excited for today's conversation. My guest today is Elias Uthman Karabell, founder and CEO of Karabell Industries, a company pushing the edge of innovation in real estate and building technologies. Elias has built a team focused on unlocking modernization at every level, from automation and data integration to sustainability driven design. And what really caught my attention is how Karabell Industries is turning technology challenges into competitive advantages. Hi, welcome. We've had a little chat right before this call, and I think our podcast audience is going to find what you're doing really, really interesting. Would you like to jump in and tell us a little bit about your career timeline and how you're working across several layers of building design, real estate solutions, industrial systems before you started Karabell Industries, and what did that core vision of integrating technology with smarter building and real estate strategies really did for you, and how that vision crystallized into what you do now?
Absolutely. And thank you for, having me on your podcast, Shirley. Such an honor. Yeah. So obviously, my career has been going on since I was 8. I'm third generation in the business. So Karabell Industries was founded by my great grandfather and grandfather in 1918, and then came to the U.S. and Ohio in 1927 and been
Wow.
running ever since. So I'm third generation. Now we have fourth getting started. My cousin Timur and my other cousin Noor, the next generation. So
that's great.
yeah. So, and and I've been a businessman my whole life. I mean, it's basically what I've done. I mean, I served in the military, but then obviously, apart from being in the military, I've been a businessman. So, obviously, international business. So a lot of my work is transnational. We work with quite a few different countries, different markets. We're an Islamic Sharia compliant company, so we're unique in the sense that we don't take any interest loans. We don't take any interest funding. All of our funding is 100% clean, 100% sustainable, and Islamic financed as well. So it's really exciting. So yeah, so I mean, obviously started my career in door-to-door sales. If you saw, obviously, another podcast by Travis Cody going into that history.
Yes.
But obviously, from there, went into working in the C-suite, now in the executive suite. So had a career my whole life, and I've been blessed to be working for one company, only one company, my whole career as well. So it's an honor. It's such an honor to work with our partners, our vendors. It's great kind of growing up, working alongside other companies, building what they're doing, seeing what they're about, and really creating communities. So it's really, really a blessing to be in this position at Karabell Industries.
Oh, that's so nice to hear. The episode title today is called The Hidden Costs of Outdated Tech and Real Estate, and that really ties to your philosophy on modernization. And what are some of the outdated systems or mindsets you see most often holding companies back in your space?
Absolutely. I would say it's manual labor. You can really improve and help make manual labor less manual with AI and make it more safe. Manual labor is great. I'm all for that. Karabell Industries is all for that. But you have to make sure that's safe, because there's a huge, overturn issue. Obviously in manual labor, there's a huge issue with rotation, and there's a huge problem dealing with, manual labor being unsafe. So, you have multiple issues there. We utilizing artificial intelligence to make it safer, and really increase the safety mechanisms when it comes to manual labor are really, really critical and super important. So that's a huge thing, because the turnover rate is absolutely massive in manual labor, but also you also have a lot of issues dealing with accidents, industrial accidents. For example, Palestine, Ohio, probably obviously work headquartered in Ohio. A lot of your viewers will probably remember what happened in East Palestine when a worker on the train, who was, from what I understand, impaired or tired. He was an engineer, basically derailed that train, in East Palestine, had through an environmental accident. That's what AI can help to avoid. So that's those outdated models of 30 hours at work and utilizing humans for these very dangerous manual jobs. AI can be a supplement to making sure that we don't have an East Palestine again, So I know that's a long answer to your question, but I think that's the biggest thing that can change.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. You mentioned that AI is starting to play a growing role in your operations at Karabell Industries, helping with decision making, predictive modeling, or supply chain optimization. How are you approaching that practicality inside the business? Or some examples you can give us?
Yeah, absolutely. Number one is our weekly reporting is all done via AI. So all our
Oh,
corporate reporting, all of our reporting when it comes to finance, all of our bank account monitoring, all of our corporate reports that we have, because we're registered across multiple states in the US with our home base in Ohio. All of that is done via AI. A lot of our executive assistant, so when people call to place orders, it's AI.
yeah.
Hiring and termination is AI.
Oh,
Dealing with
no.
disputes, obviously yeah, of course. I mean, we still have humans obviously doing HR, but AI can help determine if the person has met their performance goals, right? So it
Okay.
does, so you don't have to have an HR generalist sit there and write down a performance goal on a sheet of paper. Because I remember early in my career, this was back in the early 2000s, late 90s, there were literally people just writing down these performance reviews, right? So our
Yes.
performance reviews are done with AI, so it's pretty unique. But it's
Yeah.
also, I mean, of course, we still have an HR team. The other things that we're doing is product, client safety, security, making sure when we do emails, send out texts, we have predictive AI. I mean, it's
Yes.
so cool. I love it. But yeah, there's a lot of things at Karabell Industries that we do that are related to automation and AI. But we don't believe in automation. We believe in human centered, which we'll get to later,
Yeah.
technology instead of obviously tech centered technology. So it's a little bit different. But obviously, with our human centered AI,
Yes.
it takes my day from being, let's say, 8 hours now being 4. And most of my other work is just now fun work, right? So it's not like
Well,
doing a ton
yeah.
of intensive work.
Yeah, if that human creativity is there in your projects at work, and it makes it a little bit more enjoyable, and you have a little bit more free time, or the perception of free time, because the automation made something that was more tedious compressed in time. It got completed a little more faster. Is that a better way to sum that up with what you're saying?
Yeah, that's a great way. I mean, another thing AI's done that's really cool is assist our secretarial department with writing and logging, because every corporation is like a ship. You got to log everything.
Yeah.
You log calls, you log conversations,
Yep.
you make sure people are responded to. Everything has to be done because, you may get an audit from time to time. You may have to do an internal audit, and then all of that comes back. So all
Yeah.
of the auditing, all of that is done via AI. So it's just a lot of administrative at this point, but also reaching out to customers via AI is something that we're developing and building right now too, using AI, what we call bots. A lot of people don't like that term, but I think it's a powerful term. Is AI bots to kind of help customers in an order process, reach us, all those great things.
Yep. Yep. From your client work, what's the hardest part about helping teams adopt new technology? Is it education, culture, or something deeper in the decision structure?
I would say it's something deeper in the decision structure. I think people, the biggest hesitancy people have about AI is energy, right? I mean, it's an energy conversation. Whenever you talk to people, any of our AI companies, I mean, from OpenAI to Karabell Industries to Palantir to Anthropic to any of us in the industry, the biggest objection people make to bringing AI in is how much power will this use, right? And
That's
that's
true.
usually it. If you can solve the energy problem for them and say this is renewable, you're not going to be jumping your electric bill, they'll easily adopt AI. But you
Yeah.
got to go in there and talk first about the energy concern. Then you talk about the technology. The challenge, this is going to be powerful for your viewers because, a lot of people don't realize this, but the challenge that a lot of my colleagues have right now is they're going into these meetings, and let's say Dodge City, Kansas, we were just there doing work with AI, and they're saying to the city council, hey, we want to build AI infrastructure. That's great. Everybody loves it. But they start with the technology first, and everybody gets a little bit nervous. It's like, I don't understand this. It's really high level. What they
Yeah.
need to start with, when I told Sam Altman, my colleague, what he needs to start with is start with the energy. Start with, okay, how do we power this? How does it benefit your community? How do you make money? Then go into technology. Does that make sense? So that's
Yes.
the big thing. We really need to focus on energy first, everything else second, because people want to know, is this going to affect my grid, my electrical bills? Because
Yeah.
everybody wants to know these kitchen table issues
Yep.
that they used to say. How does it affect me? I mean, Bob Dole, who both of us knew, one of my dear friends, may he rest in peace, always said, if how you can win somebody's heart when you appeal to helping them with their day-to-day needs. He was
That's
always a
right.
big person. You help them first, then you go and do whatever you're talking about. But you first got to say, how do we power this? How do we build this? Because that's the big concern that people in AI have right now is how is this going to be energy? I mean, how is it going to affect the energy grid, right? So
That's right.
always start with the energy first.
So, so looking a couple of years ahead, what's one major shift you expect to the way AI impacts real estate? Maybe something most businesses aren't preparing for yet.
Yeah, I think the biggest way is maintenance. When you look at maintenance reports or doing maintenance, queries or real estate contracts or transactions,
Yeah.
AI can be super helpful for that. AI can also be super helpful for, you know, decluttering. I know people in real estate, even my relatives who use Claude. I mean, it's a great AI system, and it just declutters all of the mental cobwebs, because it can be very hard for a human to do all of this work and spend hours. I remember early in my career, I would spend hours in an office, literally 11 to 12 hours, literally doing paperwork until I was maybe about 28 years old, right? I would literally 27 spend hours, 26 doing this stuff. So that's how it can really help, is just limiting the cobwebs, limiting the all of your manual tasks, and just giving you more time. AI just opens up so much time. I mean, the freedom you get from using AI is so beautiful, and I have a lot of freedom now using it because it does a lot of automation.
Yeah, I think that's great. Me too. I get it. What's most exciting for you and the team right now as you scale, whether it's a specific tech partnership, product line, or industry next step? What's the signal that tells you this next phase is working?
I would say it's feedback from our stakeholders and customers. We take that very seriously. When we have a product or we have something, we go to our stakeholders and we make sure that, hey, this is going to be something the board of the corporation likes. This is going to be something the citizens of this country or place will like. We try at Karabell Industries to really be very community oriented with our development. So, obviously community oriented development, or COD, as we call it, is a big word at Karabell Industries among all of our employees. We tell them, look, you have to have community oriented development, and that's the biggest way that we know if something's succeeding.
That's great. So, Elias, thank you so much for sharing your insights. This was incredibly valuable, and I really appreciate your time and openness. And I hope that we have many more chats in the near future. Thank you.
Look forward to it. Thanks, Shelley.